Hello, this is Mark Sabatella from Outside Shore Music, home of mastering MuseScore. In this week's tip, I'm going to talk about some of the shortcuts that have changed in MuseScore over the last several years. Some of them changed literally a few years ago, some of them just changed a few months ago, but depending on when you've updated, you may or may not have gotten the new shortcuts, you may not have discovered what changed. These are the things that still come up as questions, and I figured I would cover them. So the first one that came up as a change is entering chord symbols. If I go into chord symbol mode, Control K, type a chord symbol C, if I want to move to the next measure to enter the next chord symbol, the shortcut for that used to be Tab. Tab in MuseScore is now used more just for accessibility purposes, to move the keyboard focus from one toolbar to another, etc. So we're no longer using Tab within the input system, so instead, to move to the next measure, we'll use Control Right. The nice thing about Control Right is this is also the shortcut to move to the next measure when you're entering notes. So it's really the same shortcut. It's just now used for chord symbols as well. So let's talk about something else that changed, and that has to do with entering ties. If I enter, say, a half note, and I want to tie that to an eighth note, the way we do that is we select the eighth note duration. I did that by selecting 4, and it used to be plus. Used to be as in, again, several years ago. Plus was the shortcut to enter a tie. Well, the decision was made. We never actually had shortcuts for the accidentals, flat, sharp, and natural, in part because no one could decide on any good ones that weren't already being used. Someone finally decided, you know what, I don't care if plus is being used already for tie, we're going to use it for sharp. So now there are minus for flat, plus for sharp, equals for natural. So the new shortcut for tie, again, it's been this way for several years, but if you didn't know, it's T. When I press T, it will enter that eighth note and automatically tie it. All right, so the next shortcut that changed a little more recently, and this has to do with edit mode. Edit mode is mostly relevant for text. It's relevant for some other elements too to help you move them. But if you've selected an element and wanted to go into edit mode just using the keyboard without the mouse, because double clicking will put you in edit mode, it used to be Alt-Shift-E. But the standard in so many other applications is F2. So that is now the case in MuseScore. If I press F2, it will put me in edit mode, so now I can start editing that text. If I put certain other symbols in edit mode, it lets me move them via cursor. Edit mode means something different for different symbols. So F2 is now the edit mode shortcut. Edit mode used to be the shortcut, let me go back to edit mode here, used to be the shortcut to access the special characters dialog that would let you insert musical symbols or accented letters and so forth. Well, since F2 is now the edit mode shortcut, it is no longer available for special characters, so instead Shift F2 will bring up the special characters dialog that allows you to, insert various musical symbols and all sorts of other things into your text. So that's another thing that changed. And the last thing that I'm going to cover here is multi-measure rest, and this one changed quite recently. And depending on what version you started with and whether you've customized anything else, you may not have seen this change yet. And it has to do with multi-measure rests. The shortcut to enable multi-measure rests used to be M, the letter M. And we would get lots of complaints from people who accidentally pressed M when they were trying to press N and then couldn't figure out what happened. So that was one of the reasons why it changed. M is now also used for the new input by duration node input mode. But instead of M to enable multi-measure rests, it is now Control-Shift-M. When you do that, it will enable multi-measure rests. I don't know that that's every single shortcut that's changed in the last 5 years or so, but it's most of them. And there's a whole bunch of new shortcuts, all sorts of new commands, new capabilities, but these are things that changed. And if you have been trying to figure out what happened to the such and such command, hopefully this tip will help you.